Hi everyone, this is Ayin from Mindful Creativity. I wanted to do an English real-time lesson today around the same theme that I did for my Cantonese video just a few days ago. So I'm still having a lot of fun doing my Mother's Day card ideas and ideas around monogram tiles. And I wanted to just really quickly recap how you can make unique lettering very easily without a stencil. A lot of times I'll use a sketchbook like this, and I've actually just traced the bijou tile to practice different tiles, to learn different tiles, and to practice different skills instead of having to use a tile each time. So on my pad here, you can see that I've done different lettering, and I just want to quickly recap and show you how I go about doing the lettering. Just going to zoom in. You can see that I started with a pencil line. So I've done a cursive M here, and then I just go an aura around the M to create the lettering. And then I can either fill that in with a tangle pattern, or I can fill it in with a jelly roller or any color that I like to make this M stand out like calligraphy. So you can see that I've started with just a very simple pencil M here, and I'm going to turn that almost into a typeset letter by auraing around the M. So I'm going to go in and do a tight aura this time around the pencil line, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And then when I get to the base, I'm going to go ahead and give it a little bit of a foot like you would see on a typeset. The same thing, I'm just going to do the other leg while I'm at it and give it a similar width as much as I can. Doesn't have to be perfect. You see how I'm giving it the feet there? And then I'm going to go in and do the inside. And I almost like the wonkiness that I'm giving it. Makes it really look like a bespoke art letter. And then on the top, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a foot, like the bottom. Almost like you're creating your own font. And then doing the same here, giving it a little bit of a foot. And it doesn't even have to be the same. It can be different. Weighting that a little bit. And then I'm just going to do some weighting on the inside. Give it a little bit more drama. And there you go. And you can color that in with anything you like, or you can fill it in with black. But all you really need to do is just pencil in your letter and then go ahead and aura around it so you can create different types of typeset. All right, so now I'm back and set to do a full tile with the letter M, still keeping in mind Mother's Day cards and a monogram for Mother's Day. And this time I've already laid out for myself with pencil. You can see the pencil M in the middle. I made it almost like a very rigid square shape this time. And then I've gone ahead and auraed around it also in pencil. And I've just done that in pencil because I want to do tangle patterns on top of the M and around the M. So I don't want to use a pen yet, so that I can actually have patterns lay on top of the M and some going underneath. So the first one I want to start with is a pattern that's a version of the winter lily. It starts with a little oval shape in the middle. I'm going to actually keep a little highlight there. I'm going to color that in, and that's the heart of my flower. Then around it, I'm just going to do little squiggly fescues, wiggly and squiggly, and haphazardly. They don't. The more haphazard they are, actually, the more organic it looks, and that's good. And that's the heart of my flower. Then around it, I'm just going to go ahead and do some petals. That one's kind of a funny bean shape. We'll do one that's a little bit more oval. And I'm going to do one more on this side that's more oval. And then I'm going to go ahead and do these little curves around the edge, almost like the petal is folding over. And I can do different shapes to make it look like an organic fold over of a petal. And then the same. And the trick is to kind of take off and land so it connects into the first line that you did. So there's a beautiful little flower already. I'm going to give it one more layer of petals, a little one here, and just one more here to fill it out. And the same thing, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a curve to make it look like it folds in. A little bit of a curve to give it a fold, and one more on this side. And there's my first flower. So that one's on top. I'm going to do another one that hides kind of behind the M. So again, let's do the heart of the flower. Give it some crazy wonky fescues. Sometimes the wiggly line is what keeps it fun and realistic. One more there. And then this time my petals, some are going to be behind this first flower. Some are going to be behind the M. So I'll give it an edge right there. Imagine it being behind the M, and then one here on the other side. So go ahead and go with the little fold in the petal. That one's going to be behind so you don't see it. And one more on this side. And then I'm going to fill that with a few more petals just behind. Doing the same fold shape. Small one that. And then imagine that there's one just behind there. And I don't quite see the whole flower. Okay, and then to finish that off, I'm going to give it a bit of texture and do some line work very delicately, just on the folds. So that's where the petal would fold. So I'm going to do the line work just where it folds, almost like the under part of the petal. There we go. Just to give it some texture and some detail. Turn your tile as you go. Make it comfortable for your hand. There's that turned petal there. And that little tiny part here. And even though I'm working with an 05 pen, just by varying the pressure on my pen, I can actually make the lines look more light and give it a little bit more texture. Remembering to breathe and just enjoy. For this card, because I kind of have an idea of what I want it to look like, I didn't need to put the corner dots or border. I wanted it to be free. And just growing from around the M that I've set for myself in the center of the tile. So I'm still enjoying the repetitiveness of a beautiful flower tangle and giving it some drama and pattern. Still remembering to breathe, slow down, sit comfortably, and just enjoying watching this tile come to life. I hope that you're able to celebrate with your mom this Mother's Day. And if you're a mom, then this card's for you. And you can see how I'm varying my stroke to give it just a little bit more character. And there we go. There are my two variations of the winter lily. I'm just doing a little bit behind. It's the little details like what's behind that make it look very realistic or complete. Now I'm happy with what I have there, and I think everything else that I'm going to do is going to be behind the M, because I still want it to be very clearly legible that it's an M. So now I'm going to go ahead and ink in the pencil line that I did. Taking my time, making sure that I'm breathing. Going ahead and inking in my pencil line. And you can see, even though my line is not perfectly straight, it's got some little natural wiggles to it. That's okay. That's part of the beauty of being hand-drawn versus computer-drawn. I'm just going to give it a little weight. There we go. You need to see if you need to turn your tile. I'm comfortable working with it like this for now because I wanted to keep it steady. But if you need to turn your tile, please do. So you can see how that petal sits just on top of the corner, but now I've got my full M. Now I'm going to create my other patterns just around it. I think I'm going to go ahead and grow some flowers called Kingston. It starts with a printemps, and then from there I'm going to grow some petals around the printemps, and that's going to be underneath. Just imagine that under. For the heart of the printemps, I'm just going to give weight, really good weight to parts of it to give it dimension and to make it stand out. So the heart of the flower is almost like the heart of the rose. And it's got some density to it. There we go. Okay, and that's Kingston. So I'm just going to go ahead and add one more layer to make the petals stand out. There we go. And it looks like almost a flower bud. And I think I might do one small one just behind here, hiding behind them. Again, kind of like bean-shaped petals. Giving it one more layer. One more layer. I think I might add a petal here just to fill it out. And again, giving density to part of the printemps to make it look more weighted. There we go, like a rosebud. I think I'm just going to add a few more little petals behind so you can see. There we go. That looks nice and full now for the side with lots of beautiful flowers. I think here, maybe I'll just fit in a regular printemps that hasn't bloomed yet. So I fit that right in behind the M. Give it some weight. So it looks like it's nice and dimensional. Just behind that part of the M. And maybe just one more that's waiting to bud here. I apologize if you hear some construction in the background. Unfortunately, the building I'm in is going under some renovations. So hopefully it's not too noticeable. A little bit more weight. There we are. Good. I'm happy with that. In this empty space here, maybe just one more that sits behind. And this one, a little bit of weighting. It's amazing what just changing the thickness of that line does. There we go. Okay, now I want to grow something that blooms onto this other side, and we're going to kind of keep with that printemps idea. So I'm going to take a vine and just start to grow it behind the M. Just going to give it a little bit of a bead at the end. So then I'm going to make it a little bit thicker A really pretty vine. It's not perfect, but that's all right. And then this one, I'm going to grow more printemps. So it's going to start at the base. I'm just going to round that in like that and give it a little bit of a bead in the middle. And then my next one, I'm going to grow from the stem, but it's going to sit just behind and curl in and give it a bead like the other one. I'm going to keep that going up this vine. So it's a kind of a combination of vertigo, but using printemps. And I'm going to have that come back behind. There we go. And it's getting smaller and smaller as I grow up the vine or the stem. And here I want to fill in one. Just going to go behind that one. There we go. And maybe you can see a part of one just behind here. We'll imagine there's one there. So again, we're going to grow them on the other side. Start with one here. Printemps is a very versatile tangle. It can be in the middle of flowers. It can actually even be a string. There's lots of fun things that you can do with printemps. One there that goes behind. I'm just going to imagine that I can see the twirl. There we go. Getting smaller as we go up the vine. And even as we go up, even smaller. Even the little ones that haven't quite bloomed yet. Giving them some love at the end here. There we go. I think here I'm going to put one more because you can see the kind of curl that's happening. There we go. So it doesn't look quite so empty. And there we are. So from that, I kind of want to bloom some type of leaf that's more drama-like. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do a leaf called damsel leaf. And then this side, I'm just going to do one that auras along the stem. And then you can fill them in. This line I'm going to make a little bit thicker for the stem. And here I'm going to leave a little bit of white for highlight on the leaf. And that's kind of the overturn here. I'm just going to leave a little bit. There you go. That's damsel leaf. So I'm going to grow that more drama-like leaf. And you can see how it picks up on the little printemps seeds that we've got. And we can grow some more along here and frame. There we go. Frame the beautiful leaf that you've done. And the trick to this leaf is leaving that center part empty along the stem, and it creates a natural highlight that looks like part of the stem of the leaf. And that's a trick to this damsel leaf. And here I'm just going to turn my tile and give some weight to the stem. And we can twirl and grow some more. And because it's dark, as in solid, I can actually go in on top of the other vine. See how I've done that? And we'll do the highlight here. anytime we add a lot of ink, giving it a little bit of drama, and by weighting the stem, a little bit more substance. And you see how my composition is coming together now? So as I go, I haven't I haven't mapped this out. It's just whatever came to my head today. I feel like here I can probably put another printemps roll. Give it the weight. There we go. And that fills it out nicely. And I might do one more little damsel leaf that just comes out and peeks through. It's going to come up around here and peek through. There's one side. And there's the other side. Color that in. Breathe and take your time. Turn your tile to make it easier for your hand. And give it a highlight. Breathe. Enjoy watching the ink fill in the space. Leaving that highlight dot for myself. Maybe leaving one there too, like that. I just want to correct the shape a little bit here to make it more full and round. And then I'm going to ink and make that vine more substantial. And there we go. And I'm happy with where we are. So let's move on to shading. So I'm going to go back to my variation of the winter lily. And I'm going to go ahead and just take some graphite and give it some depth around the center of the flower. Then I'm just going to very lightly touch where there would be a shadow underneath the fold. And because that petal lies behind, I'm going to give it just a little bit more graphite and shadow from the petal above. So on these ones, it's just a little bit to emphasize where the fold is. The one on the bottom, I'm going to give it a little bit more. The one on the top is just going to be where the fold of that petal is. And the one on the bottom, just a little bit more. And the same with the next flower here. And like I said before, shading is a very important part of tangling. It really brings the tangle to life because it gives it dimension. And take your time. It's easy to be impatient with this part of the tangle, but I actually quite love the shading. I really do find it gives the whole tangle life. So for the Kingston flower, I'm just going to give some graphite to the center printemps, so it brings it out, makes it stand out. And then maybe just a little bit for the petal folds. For these ones, the rolls of printemps, I'm just going to give it a little bit of shading on one side. There we go. And then the same with the stem. I'm going to keep the stem quite white, but I am going to put shading along both sides of the stem at the base. So that way there's some depth along the stem. There we go. And then for my damsel leaves, I'm going to give them just a little bit of depth by giving them tiny, tiny bits of shadow along parts of the stem, just a little bit, and then a part of the petal. Turning my tile, giving just a little bit of weight. There we go. Now, to make the M stand out, I'm actually going to put quite a bit of graphite all around the M so that when I shade, it's really going to stand out and be in the forefront. Anytime you put graphite around an object, you're highlighting it almost because you're making the background recede. And to make sure that it's nice and clean so I can keep the graphite very close to the line, you can see I'm turning my tile and really wrapping the graphite tightly around the letter. There we go. Now I'm going to go in with my tortillon, and let's start by lightly, just ever so gently smudging that out. And I love how it blends. See that? And then ever so lightly there we go. So for this part of the video, just enjoy watching the blending come to life and how it brings the pattern to life. I'll probably put some background music in the edit so you can enjoy. I'll keep it at real time because this is what we're doing today, is a real-time lesson, and you can see how quickly you can create this beautiful monogram tile. So just sit back, relax, enjoy your shading as you enjoy watching my shading come to life. bringing it to life with our shading. And the shading with a graduation of color between the dark and the light is what gives you such a dimensional, beautiful tile. And then for the last thing that I want to do for this tile is really highlight that M. So I'm going to go ahead and tight aura around it. Very, very tightly. And I'm actually going to ink in this aura. So I've given a border to the M. Really giving it a nice, strong focus. Taking my time, rounding the corners just a little bit. Really tightly, so we're giving it just a thicker ink line all around the M. Taking my time, inking in. You can see how that M really stands out now. And you can decide if you want to keep the M black and white, or if you want to go ahead and fill it with color. But I'm really just taking my time, doing the tight aura. To frame the beautiful M that I've done. Now, when we're doing greeting cards or a gift, I do sometimes allow myself an eraser. So if I want to take away that middle M pencil line that I started with to make it more clean. Or I can choose to fill it in with a color so that you don't see it at all. So I'm turning my tile, finishing off the top of the M. Remembering to breathe. Your alignment is really more steady when you breathe. Enjoying filling in this last part. I hope you're enjoying this real-time lesson. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit while longer before I can hold my in-person classes. But I hope that these sessions make up for not seeing me right now. So for this one, I'm going to go ahead and fill it in with a really pretty rose color for all of my little flowers that I've put in. I'm going to fill in the M, and I'm just using a jelly roller, and it's a sparkly one. What I love about the jelly rollers is it comes out so vibrant and rich. You see that? I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the entire M. While I do so, I remind everybody to have gratitude and appreciate the time that you have. If you're a mom, appreciating the time that you have with your family this Mother's Day weekend. If you're a son or a daughter, take time to appreciate your mom. In my life, I lost my mom at a very early age. I was only 20 when she passed away. So I didn't have that much time to celebrate my mom. But I'm very grateful to have an amazing mother-in-law who welcomed me into her family as if I was her daughter. And over the years that we've spent together, we have developed a wonderful bond. So I celebrate her this Mother's Day. And I also have some amazing surrogate moms in the form of my aunts on my father's side. There's 5 of them. And I'll be making monogram cards for them and framing them to celebrate them this Mother's Day for all of their care, love, and support that they have given me over the years. Moms come in many forms. It doesn't have to be biological. And if you're a mom to a fur baby, remember to celebrate that. My kids are now living abroad. Those of you who know me know that I am Hong Kong Chinese Canadian. I grew up in Canada and then moved to Hong Kong much later in my adult life. So now my kids are fully grown and establishing their own lives in Canada. And unfortunately, we won't be together this Mother's Day. But they're always close at heart. And just a phone call and a FaceTime and a text away. But above all else, be grateful for the people that you have in your life. Be grateful for the amazing relationships of family, biological or not. Family comes in many forms. And there you go. With a sparkling letter M. Take a moment to appreciate. I thank you for your time. And I'm going to do my signature today in this gorgeous, sparkling jelly roll pink. Thank you as always to my fellow students out there. Hopefully I will see you soon in person. If not, I hope that you enjoy these voice lessons as a way of me being with you, keeping you mindfully creative until we can meet again in person. Bye for now. Thank you.